Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilman Marlon Lewis.
A moment of silence for all the fighters who fought for civil rights as we honor Civil Rights Month, Black History Month. Just have a moment of silence, please. For all those that died in the line of fire to preserve our rights. Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Too many things at once. Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Here. Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter. Here. Councilmember Dee Dee Johnson-Reed. Councilmember Dan Dar.
Here. Item 1 is public comment. I don't think we have any comment cards. I take this time to ask you to put your phone on vibrate or silence. If we did have some, there's no back and forth. We just listen. Madam Clerk, 2A.
Acceptance of the minutes, regular meeting of February 6th, 2024, which will be published on February 21st, 2024.
I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is any discussion of our minutes from the previous meeting? Hearing seen none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3A.
Milani Gilmore and Liz Todd with the South Central Planning and Development Commission to discuss the Louisiana Small Business Loan Program.
Okay.
That's it. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. My name is Milani Gilmore. I am with South Central Planning and Development Commission. I am an intake specialist for the program. The program is, this program that I'm speaking of is Restore Small Business Loan Program. This is for businesses that were affected by Hurricanes Laura and Delta. Laura was in August of 2020. Delta was in October of 2020. So I am gonna, well, let me go back. HUD has allocated $50 million towards impacted parishes that were affected by these storms. This program is to help assist disaster-impacted small businesses with non-construction expenses, to aid in the recovery of small businesses and nonprofits located in eligible areas that were affected by Hurricanes Laura and Delta. We do have Ida up there also, but Ida has used up all of its funds, so right now it is just for Hurricanes Laura and Delta. I'm gonna go over some of the information about the loan. Eligibility for this loan: in order to qualify for the loan, a business must be for-profit business or a private non-profit organization and meet the following criteria. A business has to have 1 to 50 employees. The employees, it has to be full-time employees of 35 or more hours per week. Some businesses, it may be a sole proprietor. For that, you can be your own employee. You just have to prove that you are paying yourself. Your business has to be open at the time of the disaster, meaning, of course, that the business was in operation at the time of these events. The minimum qualification for this loan is $25,000 in annual gross income. Once again, the storms were in 2020. So in 2019, we go by your taxes and prove that your business did make at least $25,000 at the minimum. Same with the things that you have, I'm sorry, other eligibility requirements is by your decline. It has to show, you have to be able to show and prove, and that is through taxes, a financial decline of 20% or a physical loss of $10,000. And you prove that by showing receipts of replacements or repairs, pictures that occurred during the storm. This was 2020. So if you remember what happened also in 2020 was COVID, so you kind of can, some people can show a decline from 2019 to 2020, just because of that. You must either be currently, once again, operating or demonstrate the ability to reopen if your business did close down due to these storms. You would just have to create a business plan and give that to us, to the intake specialist, and we would, of course, give that to our underwriting department. Eligible uses of funding for this loan, you can get up to 6 months of documented working capital expenses, which includes monthly rent or mortgage payments, monthly non-owner employee wages and benefits, monthly utilities such as gas, water, electricity bills, phone, cable, internet, and inventory. So they'll take 3 months. They'll take 3 months of the highest amounts between a certain period of time. They do about like 6 months. You have to send in at least 6 months of this information, that documented working capital expenses, and they will multiply 3 months times 2. Another eligible use of funding is movable equipment for movable equipment and furniture. So you can get the cost to replace, repair, or reimburse your equipment or furniture. Also, cost to purchase new equipment and/or furniture necessary for your business to reopen or remain viable in a post-storm economy. Loan terms are, the loans start at the amount of $10,000. They go all the way up to $150,000, with the exception of with some loans can go up to $250,000. That is the max. Interest rates for this loan is 0%, and 60% of the loan will be amortized over 7 years, following a 6 month of no principal repayment. There's no prepayment penalties. Also, the loan is structured as 60% repayable and 40% forgivable. We're right now currently on phase 2 of the program, and Iberia Parish has been added as of January 1st. And the program ends, you have to have an application in by June 30th of this year. We have office locations in Lafayette and also Abbeville. You can also go online at scpdc.org, and you can do an application online, and one of us in these office locations from Lafayette to Abbeville will reach out to you and help you with the process. It is a kind of a little long process, but we'll help you through it along the way. So you have somebody to talk to at all times, a real person, not someone from somewhere else, right here. So I think that is it for me. Do you have any questions?
Questions, comments?
The biggest thing, we're trying to get the word out before this program ends. The money is there. Like I said, it's $50 million that has been allocated to this Restore program. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Council, for having me.
You have a website? I didn't see, do you have a website or we can go to link up?
Yes, sir. It's SCPDC.
PDC?
SCPDC.org.
Okay.
And I have some pamphlets I'd like to give out to everyone.
You
And
can.
if you guys don't mind, I'd leave some here also.
And the website's on that pamphlet, I'm sure, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
So it's 90. So if you borrow $150,000 and you only pay 60% back and you have 6 years to pay it back, that's 84 months. So you get $150,000 and you pay $1,000 a month.
That's right.
Go.
Yes.
And then
If you qualify.
Right, no, that's what I did. I figured
Okay.
at 0%. So you pay $1,000 if you're paying 60% back. I did the math real quick.
Yeah, see, you're better than me. I always do 100,000.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
Right.
60,000.
I almost did, but I said, well, let me go to 150. No, that's a very interesting program, and I hope that, you know, this catches on and that I can see our citizens take advantage of that. We are built on small businesses, that's our backbone. When you look at our taxes, we have some big winners, but for the most part, which really supports our community is all those little mom and pops and all those small businesses that don't really get much of a break. You know, there are incentives to get big businesses here because of the jobs and the taxes, but you're always looking for something for our small businesses, for the people that have been here, you know? So thank you for coming, and
Thank you.
anything we can do to help.
Please, yeah, just get the word out.
And Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And Milan, I know when
Yes,
we
sir.
talked a while ago, Iberia wasn't included, right?
It was not,
And
it was not, right.
now
We
it's
discussed it
included 100%?
100%.
The whole parish?
You got it.
Okay.
All of Iberia Parish, and
Thank
it was Laura Delta and Ida, but like I said, they've used all of the funds for Ida, so now it's just Laura and Delta.
Okay. And we'll take some of your stuff and get it on our social media and try to help get the word out.
Oh, we appreciate it, thank you so much.
Thank you.
all of
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I'm gonna also leave some cards with you guys.
Good, thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, 3B.
Carrie Mouton with the Garen Paul Atkinson Lewis Foundation to discuss GPAL Street Community Service.
Good evening, man.
Good evening. How y'all doing, Council members?
Good.
As you know, GPAL has been working with our Iberia Parish youth to improve the want, care, and motivation to achieving a better life. Not only in school, at home, but also in the community. Me being here tonight is just one of those many steps that we are taking to help them identify their work in their community, to their community. So I basically would like to ask each council member to submit a block out of each district in which the Jets and Iberia Teen Court participants will be rotating throughout the districts, cleaning up and beautifying, helping beautify the city of Iberia in those areas. Also, if any of you members have any events or any other community organizations that might need an extra hand,
Okay.
we want them to feel free to give us a call at 337-352-2493.
Say that again, Carrie, please.
It's 337
Uh-huh.
352-2493.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, man.
All
That's
right. Thank
that's
y'all so
awesome.
much.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it very much.
That's Carrie, that's your number?
No, that's the
Just a
office
contact,
number.
okay.
Yeah, that's the office number.
You need to send that information to
That's
us.
GPAL's office number.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for all y'all doing in the community. Good stuff.
I smell the neighborhood cleanup.
Oh, dude, I'm already thinking.
Get with you.
Yeah, you already know.
Definitely. Madam Clerk, 4A.
Resolution number 24-21, a resolution accepting the resignation of Roslyn Garrett as a member of the New Iberia Planning and Zoning and New Iberia Historic District Commissions.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. It's with a heavy heart that Rosalind's leaving. She served on our committees for a very long time, has done a very good job. She'll be missed, which will come up, I'm sure. We'll be advertising on social media and taking applications to replace these positions that she served because they're important positions. So questions, comments?
Well, I almost didn't want to make a second because
I
I
know.
know how,
I know, man.
I know how valuable she has been to the community.
She really has.
I wish her the best.
I don't think she's going away, you know.
Right,
but-
well, I
but
wish her
she's
the,
just,
I wish her the best. I read the letter, she's
Yeah,
scaling back.
that's right.
Gotta respect that.
Yep. Any other questions or comments?
I did. She had one.
Then I'd ask you to vote your machines. Deidre. Thank you very much. And we'll get that out there to find someone to try to fill the shoes. 4B.
Resolution number 24-22, a resolution approving the proposal and change order number 1 from Preferred Electric Incorporated for the Civic Center Marina Electrical Upgrades Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
This was going to go last year. We decided to do it this year. Our building has 208 voltage, and that's not good for a marina. We knew that, but we didn't really have the funds. We put some receptacles out there, but boats operate off of 120, 240. So what this is gonna do is finally finish the marina that boats can come and tie up and have the right voltage, and we not have an issue, because you could plug into 208, but if we burn up somebody's electronics on their boat, it ain't gonna be pretty. Anyway, so with that, and it's a total of about $50,000. With that, I need a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Dan Doyle and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
The other marina, we got the correct voltage of that one?
Well, we don't have the same
Okay,
problem.
that's what
In
I
other
wanted.
words, the marina behind Rodriguez Park is much smaller, and it's set up for little boats. You know, this one, we got the money in the grant, but it was only set up for 28-foot and larger boats. That's the boats that are gonna have cabins that people are gonna really sleep on.
Just
The
curious.
one at City Slips is a smaller one. And then at Felicity's Landing, that's just boats coming and going. We use it for fairs and festivals, but people aren't docking there.
Right.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Some of this project was happening before I got back on the council. Do they have a fee these boats can be paying?
Yes.
And if it is it the size of the boat or the day
No,
they
it was
stay
so
in
much
here?
a day that covered the electrical. We really couldn't charge for the first year as part of the grant. So we're just getting the electrical fees back for now. There's a time limit as well. You can only stay 14 days and then you gotta move on, because we don't want boats staying there for 8 years, 10 years, or people trying to live here, because we had some calls for that already. So we passed a whole set of marina rules. Most of them are on the signage that, we couldn't put them all, but most of them are on the signage that are at each marina, just to try to tell people what they could, and we want them to visit, but, you know, we don't wanna take them to race.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 4C.
Resolution number 24-23, a resolution approving change order number 4, administrative, for the City of New Iberia concrete repair project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
John's gonna come up. I think it's around $80,000. Let's make a motion so we don't forget. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Marlon Lewis. All right, give us the story.
So this is administrative change order to balance out the budget for the construction of Constant, Cypress, Trotter, and Victory Drive. It's the last 4 streets on the concrete project. Everything's included. The only thing that's not complete is the pavement markings, which is forecasted in here. So our finished dollar should be very, very close to this number. I'm thinking like I'll be probably less than $1,000 for the last change order to finish this job out. They're gonna start actually doing pavement markings next week. They've been joint sealing, that's pretty much done.
Okay.
Which is a non-pay item, because it's already included in
Yes.
another line item. But the pavement markings is a by-the-foot item, and they're gonna start Monday putting those down.
Okay.
Figure about 2 weeks to get them all down, and then that should be done, and then we can finalize this project as a whole.
And the big question, which was waiting to get to this. How much longer do you think by the time we pay all the pay apps, we look at all the unit costs, will we know how much money we have left?
That's what we gotta meet with you on Monday.
Okay.
We have a financial meeting on Monday.
Okay.
To look at, because I need to know from an accounting perspective exactly what your start dollar value was. I know you'll use some money for some other things, what you got left in the bank, because, we haven't processed the last payment for Glen Leger. It's still sitting on my desk.
Right.
Because they have that Lombard issue they still have to repair, which they gave me the Monday date for that to come in and do that as well.
Okay.
So I'm holding that as a ransom.
Good.
Till they fix it.
That's
But,
leverage is the key.
But all that money's already accounted for in our budgets.
Okay. So it won't be too much longer that I can come back to the council and say we have this much money left.
And that's kind of why we haven't moved forward with the striping. We've got the striping pretty much evaluated and mostly done, but until we can nail
agree.
down the final dollars, that project was set up on a floating budget until
Yes.
we knew what this was gonna
Yeah.
end up at.
And we're gonna have a couple of decisions to make, because we need to pay these guys. We're gonna have some choices. Do we run around and do some small areas that are aggravating everybody, and I don't know how we're gonna pick, because we're probably not gonna have enough to do it all. Do we not do that? Do we pay these guys, because I won't have new bond money for a few more months? I don't want them sitting idle, and I'd like them to really get on the documents for the next $16 million worth of roads. So if we have money that's enough, I'm gonna ask you to allocate some of it to pay them the engineering up front now, so that they can start meeting with y'all, going per each district. They're already doing some legwork.
Yeah,
They
we're
already
already
spent
doing
about
evaluating.
$100,000, and I haven't paid them yet. But they said that was fine. I can't do that on the whole bill. So once we know how much money we have left, the other thing that I'll throw in, and it's related, okay? The hot patch machine came in, we practiced. Joe and them learned how to use it, okay? They're running around and patching things that I didn't know that we would get to, that possibly we would just leave till the next road program. Okay, well, one, they need to practice. Number two, if I can fix some of these potholes in these bad areas, because even if we say we have a couple $100,000 to pay them their engineering and get going right away, we're not gonna have the big bulk of our bond money, and we're not gonna be ready to do streets till probably September by the time we bid it all out, maybe October.
At the earliest.
Yeah, at the earliest. So that means all of these spots that are aggravating you, me, and everybody who drives these roads are probably gonna be there for another year. Okay, well, some of that you don't want, and I don't want either. So the hot patch machine might well be our answer, even though I know they're gonna rip it back up, okay? Like your Darby Lane, okay? Like, she's not here tonight, she had a family issue to take care of. Like Bank Street, that one block of Bank. Like the pot was 2 blocks now. The big holes on Week Street we're taking care of today. The Dan turned some, everybody's got some, okay? So what that would allow us to do is let them practice, because I know in a year it's gonna get torn up. Okay, we see how it holds up, we do that, then we would have enough money to say, I think, to say, hey, get going so that we can move. But in the next week or two, we'll know that. But for now, this just gets our bookkeeping up to date and gets our, payments up to date. So that's all I got. I'll open it up for questions or comments. Yes, sir.
I think it's good that we talking about money left over. That means your job was well accomplished in budgeting the money and the roads we accomplished. So I'd rather see it in the position we have now than a position not having enough money.
He did exactly what
Exactly what he said.
We
Exactly. That's
said,
right.
let's see if we can hold back and have that last
Yeah, so
pot of money.
thanks for that effort. Really appreciate it.
You remember the forecast I gave you back in October?
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'm under that right now.
Right.
About 90 grand to the good.
I know that.
Under that right now.
I know that.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
puts you good on for whatever you choose.
And that was
to
with
do.
some cost change upgrades that
Oh,
you
yeah.
came with.
Oh, a lot of things along the way.
Yeah.
He was up here telling us a lot of stories, events.
Events.
Next, anybody else got any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Well, as you know, I represent Lombard Street, about 3 blocks of Lombard Street. You said there was an issue on Lombard Street.
Right in the double curve at
Okay.
Emory Lewis.
Yeah.
When they made a patch, apparently the culvert cracked and they got some asphalt in the pipe.
Yeah.
And it's not 100% blocked up, but it's about 80% blocked up. And
Right at that corner, Frenzo in it.
Yeah,
Okay, I saw him
Cat
working.
corner,
it.
yeah. If there's a big X on the road, that's basically where the failure is, and they're gonna have to cut that out, pull the pipe out, put a new piece of pipe.
And you see, we've been having some water there that we never had before. Well, now we know why.
Yeah,
It's in the pipe.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
They're welcome to practice on Darby Lane.
Well, that's good, and I think they will. It's on a
It's
list,
so
and
bad.
I agree with you.
And then Bank,
100%.
I had to turn in the wrong lane to come here.
Blank's,
because
it's getting worse by
I don't know
the-
what happened. Like,
well,
it's horrible.
Our roads, when we analyzed them, is now almost 3 years ago, if you think about
It's
it.
3
Okay.
years.
It's not
actually,
new,
this-
no.
No,
This
not
is the
this
part they
month.
didn't get to.
Oh, okay.
3 years ago, we decided what roads were the worst priority, or the best priority, because they were the worst, okay? Well, they've continued to crumble in other areas. So what's happening to us, in the last year, we've had more failures from the drought and from whatever. It has sped up and really exponentially we got some areas that are terrible that weren't that bad 3 years ago. Just like now, we're gonna be making choices for the next 3 years as you meet with the engineers and we go through the streets. We're not gonna get them all right, and we are gonna have some that fall apart. Thank God we have more money to spend, I mean, just think if we were done. And we could have been.
That drought put a lick on them.
Yep. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Then please vote your machines. Thank you all very much.
I would just ask
Yes, sir.
if you haven't gotten a list, Delaney, as far as the district goes, I've gotten most of them. I don't think I got one. But if you have some preferences for us to highlight first, we kind of want to look at those first before we get into the individual meetings. That way, at least I have some money allocated to know how we're going to divide things up and, so on and so forth.
Okay.
I don't want to come in dry.
No,
Yeah.
no, is that for the?
Where we, John, where we at with the striping that we
That's
turned the
what I was
streets for?
So we have that pretty much figured out, but
We're
that's
waiting to
gonna,
see our money.
that's gonna depend on
Oh,
how
that's
much
coming out that money
money,
that we got?
how much money's physically left over.
Yeah, that's out of what's left, so we decided to wait. We talked
Right.
about that and said.
But you have the plan figured out, I was just
Yeah,
curious.
we have, it's not 100% ready to go, but it's about 85% complete. I mean, every road's been evaluated, and I have budgets set forth, but the budget that we set was kind of floating. So we got to dial in how much exactly we want to spend on the project, because I may better add a couple of streets to it. So.
That's
it
good.
just
If I give
depends
it to
what
them a
y'all
little
wanna
bit
do.
at a time, my money
But-
goes
but-
further.
All they gotta do
No,
is push the
pick.
go button, we ready.
That's it, yeah, we are.
Now, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, the list he was talking about, that's for striping?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
this is for the next.
Oh, for the
2024.
I was
next
talking
phase,
about
right, he was
2024.
talking about striping,
Okay.
but now we're saying list for the next road program.
The next road
If
program.
you've got a few of them that you know you're gonna need to get done, give them to him, because then he can kinda start figuring, looking at our money. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I sent a list to Laney, and we had some questions about some of the streets. At one time, I think like part of Oak and part of Parkview and part of the Perry, some was given back to the city. The state still owns some.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if we made that switch or not.
No, we looked at Ashton Street today,
Yeah,
because it's
Ashton.
crumbling.
Yeah.
We can't do it all. Some of it, a section of it is still a
And
state
Oak
highway.
also.
And on Oak also,
And
they're
South
still state
Parkview.
highways.
And
Parkview, we have some on
Parkview got a bad
Lewis.
pothole by the Army, we couldn't do it.
Because they came here, I don't know this, you were here, was prior
That
administration.
was, yeah, the road swap wasn't, well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I was here, and I thought it has been done, but it has not been done. Wow.
The road swap can't happen until after Hopkins Street is finished.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Hopkins Street is supposed to start in the next few months. We're still trying to get DOTD to give us a meeting that I can get all of the merchants and people that live on Hopkins Street to come to a meeting to see how adversely it's gonna affect them while they tear it all up. I want them to know that so they can make the best plan they can. But that road, not only does it need to happen because the state's paying for it and we don't have to, but we're doing a road swap
Right.
that is still back from Main Street and St. Peter Street from when they resurfaced them.
Right.
And on Hopkins, if you know, they're tearing up sidewalks, they're tearing up the entire road, they're moving gas lines and water lines now, and then they're digging and putting these big box culverts that will be 19 feet deep when they get to the bayou, and they're huge, okay? You could probably put it, I know I could walk in them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, all of that has to happen, and that has to be finished before I would ever sign on the road swap. But that was a deal that was made, I mean, I've been the mayor for 7 years, that deal was made, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago?
Oh, I was,
What'd you think? You were here
yeah, I was here.
at least 10 years ago. So, the wheel moves slow.
See, like on Oak Street, it's in District 6, but
Yeah.
the sidewalks all busted up. That has nothing to do with what's going on with the street program.
No, no, sir.
So we would have to ask the DOTD to come in, because, to fix these streets? If we
Yes.
can't do it?
Yeah.
Because it's nonsense for us to fix 2 blocks and the rest of the street up.
Well, that's what we've had some nonsense, and it's just you make your choice, okay? We can't do it all, and our money is going to run out again. We spent
Can we
12 points.
patch the street, the state?
I'm kind of thinking with my, I'm gonna go to jail because of the hot patch machine
No,
before
you-
we done.
that's-
But the hot patch machine, I feel like, we spent 50,000. Look, I watched every YouTube video I can on every piece of kind of crazy machine I could buy, just to figure out what could our guys handle that would do some good, that would last. Okay, so it was the best choice I could make. We're gonna run around and just like I said, I told Joe, you better get the 3 guys that are on it to start falling in love with that machine because they're not getting off of it. And I do feel like some of that, we might well patch it. Maybe we'll show the state up and make them come do something. Probably not.
No.
Yeah, just a joke.
Thank you.
Just caution, because we've had experiences in the past about a patch just outside of our work area.
Okay.
And the state, we wanted to fix it, and the state gave us a lot of grief, and we ended up not fixing it, because you gotta do permits. You're gonna get on a state route, you gotta have permits, you gotta have detours, there's there's no forewarning once you get on their state route, because if you cause issues, then there's a lot of liability there.
Or we just patch it.
We do have legislatures and that we can talk.
Or we just patch it. So, thank you.
Ask forgiveness instead of permission.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. All right, 4D.
Resolution 24-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate a contract by and between the City of New Iberia and Calcasieu Mechanical Contractors Incorporated for the City Hall AC Controllers Project, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
This is the project for the controllers, which we desperately need to control all of our new equipment, because you come in here and it's cold at times and it's hot at times. It's not working right, it's not regulated the right way. We had $100,000 in for the budget, and the bids came in at 99, go figure. So we have the money to do it, but that's the project. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Dan Dahl, do I have a second?
Second.
Mayor, I got a
Councilman Marlon
question.
Lewis. Yes, sir.
So it looks like they're taking all the controls that's pneumatics, they all air controls.
Yes.
And they're taking all the controls out and put electric controls?
Yes.
In every floor.
Every floor, that's why it's $99,000.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I kind of thought it really
So-
wasn't a bad price, because
So
we've,
any other locations gonna be changing?
I kind of think the same locations, but I'm not positive.
Are they adding any more zones?
I think they are.
Okay, because that was a problem prior, is that
You didn't
they
have
would
enough
have
zones?
one thermostat, and I'm asking questions, because that's.
Well, that's your business, yeah.
One thermostat here would be controlling offices in different areas.
Right.
And it never did do it right, because this would be the time for them to
Add some zones.
add some zones to areas that it can't control if they're gonna do it.
Okay. I will look into that. I do remember a conversation that we talked about that, because, you know, the thermostat in my office controls a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with me.
It got so bad, believe it or not, back then, we ended up putting a separate, not me, but they
Yeah,
put a separate
right.
system for the judge,
Mhm.
because he was complaining so much because he couldn't control the air conditioning. But you might wanna look into it, it might be a thing to do financially,
Okay.
because they're there now doing it.
All right, remind me, and we'll fire that email off in the morning. We hadn't signed the contract yet, so that's good. You hadn't approved it yet. Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to vote your machines.
We have to come back, and maybe a different bid now.
Well, I might have it, well, we would award the bid, and then we would end up doing it as a change order. So
And
if,
he might
if,
not.
Yeah.
right, it might be that we have enough zones and it's good, but if
Yeah.
we don't, my attitude is gonna be, I still can move forward and sign the contract, and then I'll just come back to y'all to get approval for a change order if we need it. But let's hope we don't need one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much. 5A.
Ordinance number 2024-02, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute a maintenance and operation services agreement by and between the City of New Iberia, Sewage District Number 1 of Iberia Parish, and Statewide Electrical Services LLC, and setting for public hearing on March 5th, 2024.
This is one, remember, we own this plan on half with the parish, so all of these expenses are 50/50. So when you look at the numbers, we're on the hook for half of it. And then if you ever want to look where that is, it's on page 4, Article 3. It tells you that the city spends the money and then they reimburse us 50%. So we own it on, on half. There are some small increases per staggered through the contract. And we actually have Barry here, if we would have any questions. So that's what this is about. So do I have a motion?
I think motion.
Motion,
Second.
Councilman Dan Doyle and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Questions or comments on this issue?
So Mayor,
Yes.
since we own that plant on half, does this have to go to the parish at all?
Yes, they will do their half. In other words, we approve it. I know that Craig has had conversations with Brad, who's, his counterpart of the parish, and I don't think they have an issue with it. So it will go to them as well, and, we'll
Well,
just,
Barry's been doing it forever. I mean,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
the guy, I mean.
right.
That's
And
not the problem. I want to make sure it was
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
problem with
No,
the
no,
parish.
once we approve our half, they approve their half, and then it's good to go and sign, and, we good.
So we still pay the bills, and then we send the difference to
Yeah,
the parish?
and then it's
Okay.
reimbursed.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I think
Then,
it's a necessity for both of us, so.
yeah, we need it. We need it.
So, I think it's working.
Yep, and I mean, Barry does a good job. We communicate pretty often and kind of go back and forth, and he and Craig talk probably every day almost, but I think it's good.
Yep.
Then I'd ask you to vote your machines, and you already have.
Wait, no.
Oh, no, that's the last vote?
Go back. Do it
I was
again.
like, dang. Please vote your machines. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
No, no problem. 5B.
Ordinance number 2024-03, an ordinance granting CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation, doing business as CenterPoint Energy Louisiana Gas, the right to construct, install, operate, and maintain facilities for the transportation, distribution, and sale of gas in the municipality, and for such purposes to use and excavate in the public highway, streets, sidewalks, alleys, squares, commons, grounds, and other publicly owned areas, and levying a franchise privilege tax for that purpose, and setting for public hearing on March 5th, 2024.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Marlon Lewis, I have one change I would like to talk about. In this franchise agreement, they added a little language here or there. We went through it. I don't see a big old deal. But what I noticed was they increased, I don't want to increase. They increased our fee from 4% to 4.5%. But basically, they just took half a cent from our citizens because that's where the fee comes from. So I didn't ask them to do that. I kind of didn't realize, why they did it. But as I read it and realized that they had increased it to 4.5, I would like to, but that's up to y'all. But I feel like we should just leave it at 4%. I mean, that was something we could have done with CLECO, and we didn't. That's something with some other franchise agreements. I mean, you're just taking it from your citizens when you increase that. So my attitude, I noticed it, when I was reading through the contract the other day, again, I didn't notice the first time. And then the second time when we did a comparison, I was like, well, I wonder why they chose to give us a gift that we didn't ask for.
We only got the new one. We only saw the 4.5 because we couldn't tell.
Right. No, and I realized that. I didn't see it at first, and then we went through, and my clerk helped me, and we highlighted the whole thing and just sat there going back and forth. So, anyway, whatever other discussions we have is cool, but I would need an opinion from y'all if we should just leave it at the 4, instead of jacking it up.
Didn't they just sell to someone else?
I think they are in the process of doing that,
Oh,
but I don't know
okay.
if they have, It's probably why they need the franchise agreement to take it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We know the additional 5% where they're gonna get it from, so, I mean, so we don't need to pass it on, half percent.
Yeah, it's coming from citizens.
We
so-
don't need to pass it on
And
to our
the bill blames
citizens.
us. The bill blames us.
Yeah, because the bill will just say, City of New Iberia franchise agreement, and they're not letting you know that, we didn't do that, so,
Yeah, we don't need to pass it on to our citizens. I support you 4%.
thank you. Yes, sir.
No, I agree.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Does that have to be put in the form of a motion?
Yeah, how do we do that to keep it at 4?
We can negotiate it.
You give
We
me
get a
the
right to
authority to sign. I don't know, let me ask Jeff. Should
Well,
we,
We have a motion, right? Okay, so we should probably amend the motion to say that same motion except 4%,
okay,
and then vote on that,
all right,
and then go back to the original motion and vote on that.
good. Do I have a motion to go with 4% instead of 4.5?
I amended the
Motion.
4%.
Okay, so,
Second.
it was kind of
That's
almost
fine.
unanimous, so, I have a motion, Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and a second, but kind of the same motion by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you, and thank you to both of y'all and everybody else. We'll keep it at 4%. I think that's the right thing to do. Now I need a motion on the original,
Motion.
the rest of the motion.
Second.
Councilman Marlon Lewis and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 6A.
Resolution number 24-25, a resolution granting preliminary subdivision approval to Edmund Construction to subdivide property containing 2.599 acres into 20 lots located at West Washington Street, West Pershing Street, Emory Lewis Avenue, and South LaSalle with contingencies.
I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Motion by by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Jane's here, you can tell us about it.
Yes, so the plat you have in your packet shows a subdivision of property into 20 lots, and the intent is to build a duplex apartment on each lot, which would result in housing for 40 families.
Which is kind of amazing on 2.5 acres.
No,
That's pretty wild.
I know. So the developers are very proactive, and they're moving forward. We do have some contingencies relative to infrastructure. And those contingencies, there's a list of them. So we're requesting, the planning commission is requesting preliminary subdivision approval, and the developers would have a year to install the infrastructure as listed, or they could post a bond if they choose to move forward a little quicker. I think they're gonna go with installing the infrastructure though. So upgrading the fire hydrants, there's some wastewater requirements.
Yeah, sewer's a
public
big one
works.
because we're not set up, that's such a compact, dense little
Right.
development. To have 40 families in 2.5 acres, our sewer system in that area really needs to be upgraded.
Yeah, and so they're gonna provide.
And they're gonna pay for that.
Right, they're gonna pay for that. All of the upgrades and infrastructure requirements is on the developer. So they're also gonna furnish the wastewater department with an impact analysis and statement about the effects of additional services to that area. And the same with the drainage study will be provided to Public Works, to let us know, you know, the impact of 40 families in that area where there weren't families before, it's just vacant land. So it comes with a recommendation granting a preliminary subdivision approval. And when all the infrastructure is in place, then the developers will come back and request final subdivision approval.
Cool. Questions, comments?
So once the infrastructure improved, we're gonna do final inspection on everything, make sure it
Yes.
meets code, from the sewer to
Yeah.
the water and everything.
Yeah, they
before-
won't even get the approval until they've installed it already and it's been
Right.
inspected
Okay.
all along the way.
Yeah,
So-
we do a development.
When you said they do it
team-
themselves, I was just curious.
Yeah, we do a development team review, so the review would be for final acceptance, and that final acceptance would come back to you all, for final approval of the subdivision.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
So, Mayor, there's no upgrade the city has to do to handle these?
No,
families?
once they meet all the requirements, our people have already looked at it, you know, sewer's an example, Craig already looked at it. Once they make those improvements, then our system is upgraded to handle it. But that is, you know, on them.
And our ordinance so states that it's at the developer's expense.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I had a question from a constituent. They are gonna build apartments. Can they change their mind and do something different?
No. This is what they've applied for. It's duplex apartments. And so, no, if they change their mind, they've got to go back through the process.
Yeah, they can't bait and switches.
Because the person was concerned about a trailer park.
No, they,
no,
no,
that's
they
a
couldn't.
whole different
That's a
zone.
way different animal. But it's a
Yeah.
good question, you know, you could think that in
I
the
just
past,
wanted to ask it
in
for
the
that
past, they
person.
could have bait and switched, you know?
Mobile home parks require an R6 zoning, so they would have to start with rezoning the entire property. They can't just change their minds.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so when we say duplex is, and I guess that's probably later on, obviously the property's been purchased by a developer.
Yes.
Do they know they're gonna be Section 8, HUD?
They don't.
They don't
No,
know
we
that?
don't.
Probably
As far
so.
as I know, I'm not sure.
I mean,
I don't think the development company is out of Houston. And, so I've been talking with with the surveying team, they're the representatives, but that's not come up in conversation.
yeah, part of it is in District 2. I guess if you hit divided, part of it is in District 2, part is in District 5.
I mean, it's possible, but I just don't have that
Yeah,
information.
Well, we're gonna try to, I serve District 2 right now, but I'm figuring by the time it's over, I'll be gone, but we wanna keep a tight eye on what's happening in the community we
Absolutely.
represent. So, that's the only question I have for now. I'm all for housing, affordable housing in the community, all for it, 100%, so.
And that way, this is positive that somebody's coming and investing
Yeah,
and that we
absolutely.
get 40 families. So, you know,
Well,
I'm with
tell
you
them I
though.
had-
We want something good.
Look, make no mistake about it, I had my eye on that property for myself. But I couldn't do what they doing, so I'm glad it's coming.
That's it.
You know, I wasn't trying to get in that act. So I'm happy.
Good, good.
I'll say I had something to do with it.
There you go. You might have spurred them on. Any other questions or comments? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 6B.
Ordinance number 2024-04, an ordinance amending general ordinance number 304 of the City of New Iberia Code of Ordinances to authorize the rezoning of several parcels of property located at Hopkins Street, West Pershing Street, West Washington Street, and South Corrine Street, all as reviewed and recommended by the New Iberia Zoning Commission.
This is the Dore property, and we are just loosening it up a little bit so that it will fit whatever we find to do in our development. We have a mission statement, if you will, that it's going to be community-driven. We already know that we are pretty positive. We have some medical services coming. We have ATM coming. We will have room to do another kind of something that fits in that mold on that piece. But we decided that if we went ahead now and changed the zoning requirements a little bit, it's still commercial, we would be able to do more and have a little more flexibility. I don't want to find some company or something that wants to come and then we can't say yes right away. As you know, through the generosity of Mr. Bill Dore, we also have $1 million that we are going to be able to leverage to make this happen. So we're just getting our ducks in a row. We're letting the new state government get a little settled, and then we plan on going to state economic development. We have some ideas, and we're always looking for grants that we could use that money to match. So it's a process, but we figured if we got a little more shovel ready with this, then if something comes, we can hurry up and take advantage of it. So that's the reason that we're doing this. You want to explain anything, Jane?
Well, I just wanted to point out too, I included in your packets a user-friendly
Yeah.
list of what's possible in the different districts, just to give you an idea of what's permissible.
That's good, Ms. Jane.
Yeah, I read through that.
Questions, comments?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I see there's a little, partial land in the middle that has to be carved out.
We have tried to purchase it already, and I'm sure that's where you're heading. It didn't work for now. I don't think the door slammed on us. I think it's down the road. That could be a possibility. Councilman Lewis has some connections and already made that connection and already had some discussions, and we went back and forth on it. Mr. Bill was adamant too that, hey, if you can get it, try to get it. At one point, he even said his pockets weren't empty, so we thanked him. But it won't happen at this time. But possibly in the future, we could end up with it.
Coach, what it is, the owner of the property is like 90 years old, and his family's like, he don't want to move, and his family's like, they don't want him to move at 90 years
Can't
old.
blame it. I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
And there was no opposition to this request.
Good. Any other comments, questions? Then please vote your machines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. I did a motion in a second? No, okay, I'm sorry. I need a motion in a second. Our last item, I'm moving too fast.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Thank you. And I have a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Any discussion? None heard? Please vote your machines again. That way we did it right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Going too fast. Item 7A, Madam Clerk.
Discuss the City of New Iberia anti-violence/summer camp program. Deidre Ledbetter.
Yes, ma'am.
And it wasn't necessarily a summer camp program, it was an anti-violence program in general.
Right.
We had a big start last year. We did sponsor some kids for the summer camp, but we were supposed to take it to another level this year, and that hasn't happened. We were supposed to do mentoring and maybe some other things also, but that hasn't happened yet. So,
Let me tell you what we're gonna do this year.
well, yes, since we missed about 6 months, in the process, pretty much.
It's all right.
Yes, but when you lag, you lose. You lose interest of the people who were really gung-ho about it, because all of a sudden, nothing was going on, no meetings, no anything. So, this is something that we definitely need to continue to do, because this is not one that you can just let go, because it definitely impacts our community in a negative way, and we want to make it more positive. So you can take it from there then,
I'll be glad
as far as
to.
my concerns.
That's fine, and that's your right to do that. The summer camp was the catalyst last year and will be the catalyst every year that we do this ARPA money and do this project. We realize we have to hit kids earlier and earlier, just like Obama and me's Leader in Me program, you got to catch them young. So the summer camp is kind of the catalyst and the kickoff, and probably will be for the next 2 years that we can do this year in 24. At the end of 24, all the money has to be allocated for ARPA. We can do it in 25, and then we have to finish the money at the end of 26. So we'll have, a couple of more years of this, okay? So what we're doing to do exactly some of the things you're talking about, I didn't really know Mr. Stanley Small till probably 3 or 4 months ago. What human dynamo, man, I love that guy. So we are working with him because he's done the mentoring program for years. So we brought him in, then he brought Reverend Sophus, and he brought Zach Mitchell. So we started meeting, okay? And we're looking for ways to collaborate, okay? Because I'll give you kind of the spiel. I promise I won't take too long. But we have a bigger issue that, what do we always hear? There's nothing for our kids to do. Well, although we redoing parks, we redoing things, we do have things. I think that's not right, and I'm going to prove it to you tonight. So what we want to do is collaborate. So as Stanley Small says in his wisdom, we're going to catch those kids, we're going to get them in a group, and they won't all do each activity, but for the first time, and that's what he told me, for the first time, y'all are collaborating in a way that year-round there would be something for kids to do. So when Reverend Sophus is, just an example, when his flag football league kicks up, okay? Well, with the kids that we have at the summer camp, and the park, never forget about the park's clinics and programs, because now we kind of meld in that too, okay? So we're going to end up with ample opportunities to send these kids, or at least give them the opportunity, the choice, to go from one thing to the next. So Mr. Small's idea is get them to your summer camp. Zach Mitchell does a church camp that attracts a lot of kids, and that we actually have helped him. As you know, he's done it at our community centers before. Take that, take the flag football, take any other thing, because we are looking for more partners, and that way those kids in a group or in separate groups, you got a bigger ball of our youth, if you will, and they can be passed along from each opportunity to each opportunity that we have not been doing. That as a community we haven't been doing. Everybody's been, I'm trying to build up my program, let me do this, come to my group. But we really haven't done a very good job of offering opportunities all over the place and saying, okay, here's these kids. That is something that is going to change. So we have a meeting. We've had 2 meetings with Mr. Small and the group. We have one next week. In the meantime, we hired a person and brought somebody in who is going to run the summer camp, separate from the park. If you do a reset, they will work with park people. But and we've been meeting on that regular every week. If you're going to do a reset, you got to do something different, okay? Our summer camp used to be 100 kids. COVID, whatever else you want to go, it has gotten smaller and smaller, okay? Other camps have picked up. Parish does a great job, okay? Parish is now, it's not a competition, but we have actually modeled some things after what the parish does. So this year, we'll have somebody whose only job is to run the summer camp, okay? Well, that's going to meld over into all these other activities to get that group and that networking and that collaboration going. At the same time, the parks these are all clinics the park does in the summer, and they are 2 days a week for a month. Tennis, soccer, basketball, volleyball, cooking and baking, which was one that they started that last year, and it was off the chart popular. But they probably serviced 25 kids last summer in the program at any one time. Well, they can do a lot more than that. Summer camp this year, we are hoping for, 50 kids, 60 kids, 100 kids. I'm ready, okay? So we just opened our registration. We have an early bird special. We finally have something online. We're promoting it on social media. We put it on the Slyman marquee for the first time. We put it on the brand new Pepperplex, because that's a city thing. So we put it on the brand new Pepperplex big sign, So we are trying to do something different, which is promote what we have. Well, if you take those same kids in the summer camp and you tell them, okay, if you want to leave the summer camp, because it's all in the park, or the parks, they're in both parks. You can go to the tennis clinic, you can go to the soccer clinic, you can go to the basketball clinic, you can go to the volleyball clinic, you can learn how to cook and bake. Now we've taken that opportunity for the kids, for the activities that happen at summer camp, and given them another chance to go do something different. It's another way to show them that we have services, we have things. When you start listing all of this, When you list the investment we've made at the Pepperplex and the things that are coming there. We talked this morning about maybe starting a kids pickleball league, since pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country. They had some interest from kids, but I don't think it was very well organized. When you look at the new splash pad, when you look at all the activities that we've spent money on to promote, or, you know, at both the parks, we got new baseball fields, we've gotten tennis courts we've redone, okay? Well, let's take advantage of that. So all of those things would start getting kids younger and younger and giving them activities. And I think that that is one of the biggest things. You want to talk about anti-violence, get them off the street and give them some activities and try to work it where Mr. Small and his group have a way bigger target group to do the mentoring. So last year we didn't really have, and this was our first year. We're not saying that any of us know, well, you probably do because you've been in education, but you know, if you're not an educator, if you don't fool with kids, you know, we had a learning curve, all right? So with the learning curve, with the help of people who've already done it, and you know, when you know how to do something, go find somebody who can. The smartest man hires people smarter than himself. So we found Mr. Small, okay? So with that pile of kids, I think that now we have some mentoring, now we have some things going that can actually work year round. So that's kind of where we're trying to head this year. So it's a pickup from last year, a little bit of a reset with our parks so that we can use the assets that we have, and we're bringing in some other people that can help us. And my last little kind of spiel is, our community is a very diverse community. So we need to offer diverse programs, and we need to touch kids all over town that we can to get them involved. So if there's other groups that want to collaborate, that want to say, hey, you know, we have this program, or we have that program, or we offer this sport, okay? That's what we need to do. That's how we're going to finally end that stuff of there's nothing for my kids to do. There is, you know, and maybe we were at fault that we didn't do a good enough job of marketing it, you know. There were times that we didn't have anything to market. When your roof's leaking and your air conditioning doesn't work and your parks are falling apart, what you going to market? You know, how are you really going to be attractive, okay? We have fixed all of that, thanks to y'all. So with those things that have been improved and we have a better product, now's the time to push on this. So that's kind of where we're heading. I'm sure I left some things out. I'm glad you put this because, you know, everybody needs to know what we're doing. And we're in the process right now of developing some social media, some videos, and some stuff to really kind of promote where we're heading.
Didn't you mention that you're gonna change the theme as well with a new fresh theme?
Yeah, like the summer camp will be 10 weeks where it wasn't before, so now we're holding on to those kids longer because you want to hold on to the kids the whole time that their parents are working and they sending their kids to summer camp. It didn't make sense to be 8 weeks. We really want people to understand that they can do that for the whole summer. It's broken into 2-week sessions. Every 2 weeks is a field trip. Every 2 weeks has different activities. This year we call it Welcome to Paradise, and so it's all about as if you're going on vacation, as if you're going on a trip, as if, you know, to have a theme. So every 2-week session has a theme, which is what all the other summer camps do. I can't say that we always did that or didn't do it as well as we're trying to do it now, but so it has a theme. We're trying to make it fun. What you doing, popping up that shirt?
Are we gonna branch out into, I remember we had a select group at first, and you said you were then gonna open it to other people to basically join the group, or is the group gonna meet again? I mean,
Yeah.
because we have a whole lot of mentors, possible mentors in that group.
That's what Mr. Small and I talked about. He said, you get organized, and he gave me some great advice. You get organized and get it where you're going to have the kids, and then the next thing, he can handle the mentoring. So what I'm probably going to do is call for arms, get people over there, and we're going to make sure Mr. Small is there, and he's going to handle the mentoring side because he understands that. So yes, ma'am, and that's kind of the next step. I needed to have a product. Again, you can't be a salesman if you don't know what you're selling. So now we're in the process, another couple of weeks. We have one more meeting next week and one the following week. And I think we'll be in a position that we have a good program and have a way to say, okay, this is the nucleus of it. Now, Mr. Stanley, please help us and, you know, help us
How
with the
about
mentoring.
feeding, since they won't have the summer feeding since our governor Xed that out?
Okay. We didn't discuss that yet. You know, we were running like the other summer camps that they bring their own brown bag stuff. So I'm not positive how we're gonna, if we can afford to do all, it depends on how big the summer camp is. If it runs like the parishes, look, the parishes is already all signed up. They are almost completely full. They don't feed, they don't do, kids come and they bring, like brown bag lunches. We would have snack table. I mean, we kind of looking at what other camps do. So we would have morning snacks and afternoon snacks. We would have, some stuff.
But we would,
yeah.
I thought we were trying to target disadvantaged kids.
We will have some sponsorships again, and so I'm not saying we won't. But we're gonna kind of wait and see. Like I said, our early registration's open, and we're trying to see how big it's gonna get, and who's coming.
Because the point of what we were doing with the summer camp was to open it to kids who really couldn't afford to pay that amount, and we paid the amount.
Oh, and
So
we will
those
again.
kids still probably won't be able to bring a lunch. So think about that also. We want to target those kids basically because oftentimes they are the kids who become involved in things that they shouldn't be because they have nothing to do and nowhere to go because they can't afford to. And we need to definitely target that group.
And that's where that mentoring is gonna be so important, and I do realize that.
Is it possible to partner with the school board? Because I know last summer they were able to provide free lunches to those who need it. I don't know if that's something that they would be able to do again this summer.
I think that was the lunch,
That's the one you
That's
cut.
the lunch.
The one that the governor cut.
That the governor cut.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, it's true, he did it. Went on the news.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't realize
It's
that was
not
the
a
same
secret, it's
lunch.
public knowledge. It's not
Yeah.
a secret.
Well, there's that.
Yes, ma'am. Questions, comments, anything else?
Well, we did talk about last time, maybe different groups doing a lunch or, different kinds of lunches. On
I mean,
last year.
if somebody wants to sponsor, I can call out to see if I can get sponsors.
Because we do want them to eat if they hungry. Their participation is not going to be what it should be, and that's just the facts. That's why in the public schools you get breakfast and lunch because a lot of the kids are not able to, parents aren't there maybe to fix breakfast. Like some parents are. And you
So-
do want working parents.
Will it be week by week, day by day, that we know how many kids?
Well, they're gonna sign up, and it's 2-week sessions. We don't think that all kids are gonna do all 5 sessions, okay?
Okay.
But you'll sign up for a 2-week session.
I guess once we have a head count, we could count on
That's
sponsors.
why we have early, that's what we're trying to figure out. That's why we have early registration that has a little cheaper deal. And then after that, it'll be open to regular registration. From Heather's experience in the past and what we saw last year, people come at the last minute. The other summer camps that are more established, people sign up the minute they open in February. I mean, we're going to the computer and watching the other summer camps and watching them fill up. We just new to the block to do it this way. But, so we're not positive how many kids we're gonna have yet. We're promoting it, and that's just starting. We got a logo, we got a flyer, that's going out. We just started this week with, getting going and getting it moving, really last week. But, so we'll see, pretty soon, what kind of response we have.
So, you know what the cost is?
Go ahead. She can go.
Is
Oh.
there gonna be a fee
Yeah,
involved in
the
it?
regular summer camp, we're cheaper than the parish, which, like I said, I love the parish and it's not a competition, but since they were successful, we've been looking at what they're doing. So no, we have it on a flyer. How much are we? Yeah. So it's weekly, it's $75. And then for the 2-week session, it's $130. And then, we had looked at what the parish charges and made sure that we were less than them. I think we're $10 less or $20 less, and then we give discounts when you have more than one child. So we have discounts per child. And like I said, we are gonna have some sponsorships as well, like we did last year. But we made it cheaper per kid. If you have one kid, that's the price. I think it's a $10 drop when you have the second one, a $20 drop, and then there's a drop again if you have a third kid. I think at some point it stops. But,
So for the kids that we sponsor, they're gonna be able to go the full 10 weeks?
yes, sir.
I want to thank Ms. Ledbetter for putting this on the agenda and adhering to the concerns of our constituents. I had gotten calls early on when the momentum kind of stopped, if you will. But I understood it to be a marketing deal more than it was a program.
Right.
I didn't see it to be a program other than the summer program.
Right.
I knew we spent a lot of money. We were allowed to spend money on marketing, anti-violence marketing stuff. And, but what I say is that I will always, and I know the city will always, support our youth in trying to get away from violence and try and provide the tools that they can work through this era of violence among our youth, particularly in the Black African-American community. And I think we have some great groups, GPAL, and so many other groups that are trying their best to dig into the minds of our youth to get them turned around on the right, on the right path. I think it's going to take a holistic approach, community-minded mentorship. I work with Mr. Small in the Buddies program. By the way, are we hiring Mr. Small to run a program?
He's just coming. He's like,
Oh,
so
we're not
committed to
hiring
this.
from it. I mean, I'm not against that. I know
me
he
neither,
has
but
his-
he's so committed to this. He's just like, get me kids, get me. I want to do this. I mean, he's like I said, he's amazing.
Sure, I tell people all the time, and I'll say
And if
it.
we can support his program, if that's something we need to do as we're meeting, I'll be coming back to you. And we, can utilize some ARPA. And look, I realized halfway through, okay, blame me, whatever, it's fine, okay? You can't, if you're gonna lead, you're gonna make mistakes, okay? And you just pick yourself up and try something different. Just signage and T-shirts wasn't really doing as much as it might have done, okay? Let's be real, and I am real. If you look at our number of shootings, if you look at our number of murders, if you look at our number of violent crimes, look at our solve rate, it is off the chart. It's good. But if you looked at, we spent money last year, well, it made me realize, and like I said, this is not just, and no slight on Councilwoman Ledbetter, this is not because she called me and said, hey, I want to talk about it. This has been in the works, and we've been working on it for a few months to get it to this level of where we are, because we realized if all your stats are the same, no offense, you really didn't do that much. And without the mentoring and without the other parts of the puzzle, that we just weren't really maybe equipped for last year. We just weren't ready. Without the partners that we have now and the way we're approaching it now we're going to do something that will have a better impact. So, the signage was visible. It did a good thing of saying that we care. It did a good thing of saying we want to make a change, but it didn't do as much as we would have wanted it to do. So this is, for us, kind of a reset. So we've been heading in this direction for, about 3 months that we knew we needed to do this, and about 2 months that we've really got good partners and we're working through this. Because what we did last time, while it was very visible, I love my town, I love my people, but it really didn't do much. So this is a way, I think, and look, if we want more signage and we want to do more of that, we can do that. But I think now we're heading to something that's going to be more of a program and touch kids in a better way than, a T-shirt and some signage. So if you want to know the truth, you know, we have been looking at it and saying it didn't really do what we wanted it to do. So what do? You pick yourself up and you try again. So this is as we say in the park, that it's a reset for the summer camp, summer clinic program. It's a reset for what we tried to do last year as well.
Mayor, I still have the floor, right?
Oh, yes,
You
sir.
got the gavel, so I know you had
I
the
got it up right
opportunity.
here, sir. You got the floor.
But you know, you were answering, you were responding. So I think we're selling ourselves short because we did make an impact. If you look at what we did and the reason we did it, it was marketing. It was awareness. That's what it was for.
And maybe that caused some of this to happen.
Well, we didn't have a solution, you know, like 1 + 1 = 2. We didn't have a solution. We didn't have an empty space to put the problem solved at the end of it.
Gotcha.
We didn't have that. We knew what we were doing, marketing and advertising. And so all the mission we started on would have only been more signs and signs and signs. However, the signs that were out there brought awareness. They had people that I didn't know.
I do agree with that.
That really cared about the community in that way. They were asking, what are those signs about? You follow me? They were asking that. And so the momentum may have slowed down, but it's still in the minds because the signs are still out there. I still got mine. They are still in people's yards.
I have mine.
And
When
if
you look
we-
at,
and if we want more, that's something we can continue to do. I'm not knocking
Yeah.
it. I just felt like we needed to do more.
and I think it incited some people. You know, like I learned something along the way. Giving back and mentoring is not a competitive sport. Let's all get in the game. And the winners will be the kids and our youth. It's not like you doing it. So, however, I do believe in healthy partnerships. You know, if we all on the same team doing the same mission, we got a stronger team.
Yeah.
But if there's a need that isn't met in the community concerning our youth, then surely I would advocate for that group to get involved and piggyback off of GPAL, piggyback off of you know, and I'm not picking on them, but they're doing a good job. Piggyback off our anti-violence campaign, remember? And we're getting into the political season where we're going to have a lot of more signs out there. And what we always say, those who ran for office, we all ran for office.
Political
What we say? Signs don't vote, right? So signs don't do the work either. But they're needed.
I agree.
They're needed. So I commend you for bringing that up, firing me up. Look, I've been mentoring for over 20 years. As a barber, we are mentors. The day I walked in the barbershop, I became a mentor, whether I like it or not. You know, matter of fact, I didn't even know it until somebody told me. You know, but it's just like the Bible says, and I'm not a religious guy. One plant, one water, and God brings the increase. We've planted a seed. Other people are watering. We have to till the ground and fertilize to get the increase. And it's going to be some time, it's going to be some pain, and it's going to be some trials and tribulations, but we can't give up. So, yeah, thank you for that, Ms. Ledbetter. Thank you, Mayor, for clarifying that we may have slacked a little bit. But I think, have anybody else don't get me wrong, violence is progressive. It wasn't as bad as it is now. So you probably didn't have to do a campaign 20 years ago, Coach.
It's a different
But
world.
now you have to do something. And I think we're doing that something, and I think you could never do enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, this excitement and fire y'all got is to, for whoever watch the meetings, whoever listening, yeah, join in. Join in, because it's each one teach one. Grab a child by a hand or adult or whoever, because they got some young men in their 20s that still need mentoring. We say they're adults, but they got children minds because of the things they're doing. We got all of that going on. So, you know, everybody get on board. And we're going to be all right. And we're going to keep pushing anti-violence and stop the violence and all of that stuff. I know I will.
And we can continue to do that. This is just kind of the next step.
Yeah, I got a vested interest. Where I work and live is in the hood. I got to be, and I say the hood, I don't like using it. I grew up in the neighborhood, but when the neighbors leave, all you got is a hood. So I live, you know, where I work, and I got to keep it clean and safe around there if I want to continue to be successful and not with the threat of, you know, being robbed or something. So I have a vested interest in this.
Yes, sir.
So,
Well, and I'll take any suggestion and anything we can add. And again, I said it once already tonight. You know, if we have some other groups that want to collaborate with us, awesome. You know, we'll take it. Because I do think we're heading to a more proactive stance, and we're heading to more opportunities, if you will. But again, if we want another round of signs, or we want to try to do a different slogan, or we want to try to do something else, you know, I'm open. I mean, we make those decisions together. I think this is the beginning of a good start and a different effort, a bigger effort. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I think comments well taken, Marlo, and I think you know, as elected officials, we offer the program, but I think it all boils down to getting the parents to commit to a program and get the enrollment up and show them what the final product is. So it's our job to communicate the message to get the people to participate, their kids. Once you get those numbers in, it's gonna be self-sufficient. And I think, you know, the message we're sending out right now is gonna do a good job, but it's all on part of each one of us to go out and recruit and get kids to attend. So I think it's a win-win.
And I'm just influenced by this council and over the 7 years that some of us have been together and on and off, and some new people.
On and off.
Well, you know what I
On and off is
mean?
you.
It's just Dan. We have, you know, we spend so much time and money in our parks talking about our kids. Think about it. All the money we spent taking over the Pepperplex was a giant leap of faith that we still not, you know, done with. When you think of that, of what we've done in the parks, of what we create, we're building new parks. I don't know the last city council and mayor that built, they're 2 little small pocket parks, but I don't know the last mayor and city council that actually built parks. So the combination of all that just gets me fired up.
The Pepperplex started when I was here.
Oh, I know it did.
Okay.
Look, we took over, and it's just been a government entity for a little
Give me
while.
a little bit of
But
credit.
thank you for starting that.
I got a response to that, but I won't.
Okay.
Thank you for starting that.
When you took it over the cattle ranch.
You know, if you think about all that we're doing as a group, it is so centered on our youth, and our budget is so centered on our youth. You know, I'm just excited to try to keep this moving and continue to add to it. So believe me, I'm open to criticism. I'm open to ideas, and you know, we'll just keep moving. I mean, because it's a positive thing.
So are we gonna go back to, having a large meeting like we did before?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you get it,
Once I get it just a little bit more fleshed out, because I think that large meeting is where we're going to find more mentors, where we're going to
Yes.
find more volunteers, where somebody's going to have another idea, and that's a great thing.
yes,
In the plan, yes, ma'am.
okay,
Cool. Ooh, that was a good discussion.
it really was.
Yeah, thank y'all. With that, I'll go to Councilman's remarks, and I will start on. Oh, wait a minute. We had one more item. I need a motion. Kevin Zarang, Finance Director, couldn't be here tonight, so I will need a motion to postpone that finance report till the following meeting.
Second.
Thank you. I have Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and who did the second? Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Any discussion on that item? Then please vote your machines. We'll hear about it next time. Thank you. Now go on to Councilman's remarks. Councilwoman Marcotte, I'll start with you.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know that you can still register for Evangeline Little League. That's baseball and softball. Registration ends March 1st. Yep, registration. And then tryouts, if you've already registered, are this weekend, but you can still register till March 1st. You just won't try out. You'll be placed on a team at random. And I'm hosting a litter pickup March 2nd. That's a Saturday. It's at 8 a.m. If anyone's available to come help, we'll be on Darby Lane for sure. If we have enough people, we'll also go to Texaco Street. Those are 2 problematic areas in my district. So we definitely need some volunteers. We'll have a lot of little beta students there to help out. So it'll be probably mostly kids, which is good. It gives them the service hours they need for the clubs they're involved in at school. And that's it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I got a couple of announcements. The job fair, New Iberia Career Fair, that is sponsored by us along with Acadiana Workforce Solutions, Louisiana Workforce Commission, of course, City of New Iberia, and Job Corps. They are having we are having a job, let's see what it's called, job fair, career fair. And it's at the Weston Park MLK Recreation Center, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the resume prep. They're gonna help you prep your resume, and the actual job fair from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I know there's the women's, I don't have that flyer, the women's business expo that's gonna be at the Slam, and that's gonna also be on the 6th, March the 6th, I'm sorry. And those dates are March the 6th. And I think that is at 6 o'clock. I think that is at 6 o'clock. There's a few events. Y'all bear with me, please. There's also, on Saturday from 11 to 1, there's a Black History program honoring some local people over at Zion Hill Christian Fellowship, and that's from 11 to 1. Mayor, I know you got some recognitions for those people. We appreciate that. Also that night, there's a lot going on. That night there's going to be in the Western Park, starting, the doors open at 7, and the program starts at 8. There's a, it's called Black Excellence, and they're going to be doing the same, except they're going to be honoring people. The first one during the day is going to be people honoring people for their accomplishments, what they've accomplished. And the one at night in the Western Park, sponsored by, again, the City of New Iberia Parks and Recreation and WECNA, Western Neighborhood Association, they will have an event that night at 8 o'clock. And that's this Saturday on the 24th. Both of those days are the 24th. And that one will be honoring people who are actually serving in the community, that are actually doing stuff in the community right now, not necessarily history makers and being the first this or the first that, but they're actually out there doing some volunteer stuff. They're going to be honoring those people. I wanted to announce that. And then the Deltas, the ladies in red, for those that don't know the Deltas, they're the ladies in red. They're going to be, there's a free community health fair, and that's March the 9th, 2024 in the Western Park, again sponsored by Mayor. We've been doing a lot of sponsorships with nonprofits. I can appreciate that.
We have, and we will continue to do that. You want to be a community, you got to help your community.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's going to be March the 9th, 2024. Now, Mayor, I made for my Black History moment. I always have to do a Black History moment, if you remember, if you notice. And I'm going to start with the year we in is 2024. So I like to do round numbers of things. And 70 years ago, in 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education, they were victorious in that. Thurgood Marshall and his team of lawyers, where they could not separate schools on the basis of race. 1964 was the Civil Rights Act, 60 years later, this year, where you could not discriminate based on, watch how we progress, based on race. It was a civil rights and a labor law. It wasn't just about color. Based on, it outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. Those are my Black History moments. But as I've done in the past, I want to stand up and I want to give honor to who sat in this seat first. He's deceased. He was an educator, Mr. Tyrone Charles. And Mayor, I want to thank you for what you did for him in Bullion Plaza with the kiosk. You surprised me with that one.
I did.
My grandfather served after him. My Aunt Peggy, she was the first African-American female to serve on the city council. But Mr. Tyrone Charles, Stanley Small, Judge Porter, now Judge Porter, who was the first African-American judge in the 16th JDC, these people had a group called Citizens for Progress. And what they did, they petitioned the state, Louisiana state, to get the first black seat in New Iberia. And Tyrone Charles, Mr. Tyrone Charles, the Honorable Tyrone Charles, who is no longer with us, was the first African-American, all-black city councilman to sit in this seat in District 2. And then 5 came later. And that's my moment. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Broussard, Councilman.
I've been a little bit under the weather. So in a big way, I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and this whole council for getting striping. Just plain old fancy striping the roads. You can see the road. State come down and do some more too. You know, man, that was terrible on Lewis Street when you had to ride down the middle of the road. Just even attempt to go down.
You know where the middle was?
It was terrible. But let's all recognize the growth that we're doing. There's going to be a lot more better things coming. And we hope the people understand it's y'all streets, y'all roads. Let's get them better and better.
Thank you, sir.
So it's hard to follow a Black History moment like you. That was great. I really, some of that stuff I really didn't realize, and I really appreciate that and respect everything you said. But tonight, we brought up the topic of bullying and violence in our community. You guys need to really pay attention to what's going on in Baton Rouge currently. Our governor has a special session devoted to crime, and I went there and visited with some people 2 days ago, and they have some issues on there that are going to be very progressive, and it's going to be a trickle-down effect. It's coming down to this community, the things that are going to be passed, and we're going to see and make a difference. So pay attention to things that are going on, because I think not only the legislature, but the governor has a mission to decrease crime in specific areas as well as statewide, and I think this is the first step, and it's something that has to be done if we're going to continue to build on those moments. But pay attention and do some research, because it's very exciting what they're doing in Baton Rouge.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to invite everybody to our annual Black History Tea. It's going to be Sunday, February the 25th. It's 4:00 p.m. at the Slyman. Everybody's welcome to attend. It's sponsored by Gardu Court number 129, NAACP, Iberia Parish Chapter, and the City of New Iberia. Our mayor will definitely be there to greet everybody. So please come on out and have, we honoring 3 people. The person from New Iberia is Lugerda Jacque Bostan. And some of you know her. She's been working at the St. Francis Diner for a long time. Before that, she worked as a nursing assistant at a nursing facility. So she's always been a giving kind of person, and she is, really ageable now, but that still hasn't stopped her. So we try to give people their flowers while they can still smell them. Mm-hmm. We have somebody from Opelousas that will be honored, Ronald Milburn, and he does a lot in the community in Opelousas. And we have an honoree from, no, Brobridge. And her name is Annie Irvin, and she has done a lot in her community. What we try to do is we have members in Gardu Court from Morgan City all the way to Opelousas. So every year it moves around. We always honor somebody from New Iberia and to other communities, where we have members. So please come out and join us. Councilwoman Reed and I was able to go to that invitation. We were invited to an activity at the airport to meet the people who have purchased AVEX, and it was very nice. It was a bunch of legislators. Our state senator was there, and several representatives from the area, and a lot of other people. It was really a nice event. So what we did the next day, since the owner and the guy that's actually running it now, and he's been here for only a week, he invited us to tour the place. So we went the next day, and we went on a private tour, and it was very, very interesting. I mean, they used to just do painting there, but now they actually doing maintenance of the planes, the airplanes. And if they can get the funding needed to build a larger hangar, they can even expand there further. Because the hangars, there are 3 now, and they want to add a real big one where they could put in 5 planes at one time. The other 2, there was 1 plane in the first smallest hangar we went in, and then there were 2 in another. And then they had like 4 of them out on the runway that they were pretty much finished with. We were able to go inside the planes. They were converting 1 plane from commercial, passenger to just cargo. And you could see inside all the renovations that they were doing. And we asked them to definitely, they were working with BRCC but they need to really look at SLCC since they're, here in Iberia Parish. So they were gonna reach out to SLCC to try to get them to do some of the training that's needed. He did tell us, it takes like 2 years of, training in aviation, and then you have to do so many hours. But the pay is really good, and they've grown from 80 starting to 200. And there's a good opportunity for people from New Iberia and from the general area. The starting pay is like $17 an hour, and then it goes up from there. So we have a lot going on in our parish, and that was something, our young people need something to do, and that's something that they could actually do. It's not easy work, but it's good work, and it's available. So just wanted to share that because it was wonderful, and Councilman Lewis was supposed to come, but he missed it. He was working. He was But we had a great time, and we do have a lot going on in the parish, and hopefully our youngsters, our young people will be able to stay here and really, make a good living. That's all tonight.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
You can see how New Iberia is going in the right direction with this council and administration, and it doesn't happen overnight, because right now you're talking about things that come to New Iberia that we're not going after, they're coming here.
Right.
Look downtown, you got, next month you're gonna have a steakhouse that's gonna open, you're gonna have a hamburger place that's gonna open, just downtown. You got a fried chicken place that's gonna be opening where the old Hardee's is next month. He's from Lake Charles. He's all excited about coming here. You got another restaurant that's gonna open right in front of Rouse's, okay? You got a Bell's department store. This is just things that, right there. And you don't even have to, we didn't go after these people that came here. So it says a lot about what's going on in the community, and you gotta pat yourself on the back. I mean, it's just good things, and that's just a start. You got a lot of things happening, and these companies are coming in and investing in this community. They're moving their families here. So it's not like something they're trying to do just for a little while. So it's a big investment for them, but we benefit from it. So I want to applaud New Iberia, and most of the time when they come, when they take the tour, it's about the people here. Almost every time it's about the people they meet here. Is so friendly. So it says a lot about New Iberia and about the citizens we have. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We had a developer, when I got here, we started developer team meetings where we got all the utilities, all my department heads, everybody in the room to meet new developers and cut out all the red tape. We actually had one of those yesterday. Yeah, it went well. That's a new developer that's gonna purchase, he has an option on a piece of property. Again, it's on Amaldahl. I can't really get into too much particulars, and we're not positive what he's bringing, because they don't tell you till they lock it up. But very encouraged, got good feedback today from both the realtor and the guy that I met with. That's going well, and they were excited, and they said that they go around the country doing this, and they don't have what we did yesterday. In other words, that's my background. I knew how to cut the red tape out, and we get all the department heads in and really cut to the chase of, if there's a way to help you cut the red tape or give you options on what you can do as a developer. We try to limit the problems and the hassles and realize that everybody's got to make a profit. And if we can do something that costs less or is more cost efficient for them in the process, and we win because we don't have developer fees, we don't have some of the other requirements that other municipalities kind of shove down developers' throats. We don't have any of that, and they were very respectful and very appreciative that we were a community that the buy-in cost is competitive, the construction costs are cheaper here than other areas, and the fact that government doesn't get in the way and we don't have a bunch of extra expenses, because that's more jobs, that's more taxes. So we are blessed right now. We do have a lot going on, both parish-wide and city-wide, and I think it is our time to take advantage of that. And I think we're working toward that, and I can't thank every one of you enough because, it ain't just me. You know, there's a team up here, and, you know, we do it, and we do it well together. So with that, our next meeting is March the 5th, and I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you.
Unanimous.